I'm a diamond, not a piece of glass. Break my heart, you can kiss my ass. Walk away like I never knew ya. Got a new man, what's it to ya?
Good morning, my kings and queens out there. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are prosperous and blessed and feeling energized today, because today is Thursday, May 4th. And this is the first episode of Nefertiti Girls, and I am your host, Rena May. So we're going to get into some topics, and we're going to deal and talk about some issues that have been swept up under the rug for our ethnic women and some of our ethnic men that are facing these challenges that these new slave owners are binding and shackling our minds with giving us what we should think the choice to bleach our skin. So here we go, and let's go get it. All right, so colorism. What is colorism? Colorism is a prejudice against people of darker skin. Most likely, favoritism is always shown, and sometimes more drastically shown, to a lighter skinned person over the darker skinned person or of the ethnic group that they represent. In what part of the world do you think that colorism has impacted our community? And how was this behavior introduced? Now, you already know, when I started doing this research, I was like, okay, it's going to be the black community that it impacts the most. But later on in this show, you're going to see other parts, and I'm going to tell you other parts of the country that are facing colorism, and they've been doing it for decades, just like the ethnic groups of the black community. So let's get into it. When we speak of colorism, we automatically think the African American community, and in the United States particularly. It originated and it can be traced back to the 17th century during slavery time. Now, slaves with a lighter skin were treated, and they were fair, and they had very lighter duties and jobs to perform on the plantation from the slave master. Grow coping skills and learn how to socialize and interact with people other than their race. Now, by being a house slave, you were often given trades and skills that you learned. A lot of times you were taught how to read and write in secrecy by the very own children that you watched and raised. Some of them were milkmaids to the slave master wife, and oftentimes a lot of them befriended the slave master wife and had a coping relationship with them. Now, when I say a coping relationship with them, is because a lot of the times they did not know what manipulation was and how to go about and be in secrecy and trying to get things done or tell the other slaves that were on the plantation. Now, the house slaves, like I said, they were a crucial key to the slaves. They knew the inside scoop on the house and what was going down between the slave master and the missus. Now, that was trickled down from different slaves to the field slaves, so they can know and they can see what was coming ahead of them, and if they were going to be sold, they would have the first-hand knowledge of what was going on inside of the house. So, a lot of our dark-skinned women, we have had the walk of shame and the shame badge that has been imprinted and instamped and embedded in us as women, and especially as ethnic women. Now, if you are darker skinned, my grandmother, she was chocolate. I mean, dark chocolate, baby. Dark chocolate. But back in her day, she came from the era of slavery as well. And she also grew up on a plantation as well. Now, she wound up marrying her a red bone, light-skinned woman, light-skinned man. Now, that light-skinned man, he was a red bone, and he was an architect, and he was very intelligent. My grandmother, she felt the need, and she was so proud as a dark-skinned black woman being able to catch a light-skinned man that was well-educated. Back then, in that era, you were a $1 million woman if you were able to pull that off. All right, you guys. So, this Rena May, we're going to get deep. We're going to put some personal story times in here. We're going to talk about the real, the uncut, and the uncensored of everyday life, that everything has been swept up under the rug. So I have a question for you ladies. Why in 2023, being a modern ethnic woman, why are we still being held back still being held back, and is still allowing our minds to be imprisoned and our bodies to be imprisoned by these new slave owners, the modern day slave owners. And when I say the slave owners that are in the modern day, is these companies that are producing these bleaching creams, oils, soaps. It's everywhere. You cannot even walk into a grocery store, let alone a beauty supply store, and be able to not see the shelf of bleaching creams for our eyes and our minds to be enticed to buy. See, a lot of times they call that impulse checkout. Now, I had my fair share of, working. Sis girl, I'm a jack of all trades, you know what I'm saying? But they call that impulse shopping. Now, a lot of times these products will be at the checkout, where you checking out at the cash register, and it's behind on the shelf for you to get that eye, capture. Maybe I should try that. I got this new pimple. I actually need to go ahead and get that dark spot corrected. And little do you know, before you know, you are going to be falling into a trap of an addiction, because you're going to like the end results, and you're going to like how society is looking at you and viewing you. Now, I have a personal tee-hee-hee at the end of the show that we're going to get into, and I'm going to tell you. But for now, we're just going to continue on with this issue of modern day colorism. Now, what item are we using to compare skin tones? And I told you we were using the brown paper bag mechanism back then, and that is so sad, because when I learned that, every time I go in the store and I see a brown paper bag, it displays our ancestor, and it displays how we was treated in this United States, okay? Because they brought us here, baby. We didn't ask to come here. We got drugged here. Remember that. All right. Now, these modern day slave owners and these companies have produced $1 million booming global business. And when I said I was astonished and appalled by the numbers that I found out that these companies are making off of our insecurities, and how we are internalizing how we look and how we are not being accepted as ethnic women in our community in this modern world in 2023. We have to remove the shackles, we have to become unenslaved, and we have to free our minds. Now, you won't believe the money that they're making off of bleaching creams, oils, soaps, injectables. It was valued at, this is in the USA alone, $8.6 billion in 2023. That's a lot of money. So we back picking the cotton in the fields, but this time the cotton is the bleaching cream, and we giving the masses all our money. The new slave trade of bleaching. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Now, this market is projected to reach $12.3 billion by 2027. $12.3 billion by 2027. That is a lot of money, you guys. A lot of money. And that's a lot of planning and opportunity and marketing skills and marketing that they're going to put in to make sure that they get that money. Now, the modern day marketing is social media. A lot of these reality stars, Instagram models, Twitter, Facebook, whatever social media outlet that you are using, it is being displayed in the stores. It is being displayed in everyday life. It's being displayed in the radio, and it's being displayed on TV. Now, us as ethnic women, we have to understand and realize and be able to accept what's being given to us and thrown at us. And the reason why I say it's being thrown at us, because they are giving us a choice to buy these things, but they're beating us self-consciously because we're so busy trying to fit into the trend of looking beautiful and being perceived as beautiful, because as dark-skinned women, we look at a lot of light-skinned women as being lovable. They can get a man just like that. They can get a man's attention just like that. Back in the 90s, they had the Jada Pinkett eras where if you were short, light-skinned, and you was a red bone, you was considered, that was the 90s flavor. You know what I'm saying? So how many of us women have took a lot of those scars, battle wounds, cuts, and abrasions, and transported it into inner cuts and inner abrasions of what we are internalizing and how we are feeling as ethnic dark-skinned women. Oftentimes, I see a lot of these young girls walking up and down the street, or even on Instagram, or on these other social media outlets. You guys have on so much makeup. That makeup becomes and represent your suit of honor. The reason why I can call a spade for a spade is because I used to be in that same category. See, when I was growing up as a teenager, I had very problematic skin and I had acne out this world. So I turned to makeup. With that makeup, I had the suit of armor on and I felt beautiful, I felt accepted, and I felt like I was trending in society. Now, as ethnic women, we should know that we already possess the structures, the cheekbones, the lips, the eyes, the nose. We already possess beauty. We are the Nefertitis of the world, our ethnic women. Now, Tupac said, the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Lady, we have to understand that we are the juice. Kanye West said diamonds are forever, ever. Yes, Kanye West said that. We are the diamonds. Diamonds are made under pressure, and we can apply pressure. We can come up with so many different ways that us ethnic women, we can get through it. We can push through it because we are super women. We are the antidote. Talk about it. You know how Rena Mae is, girl. We gonna get down to it. Rena Mae gonna let you know over here at Nefertiti Girls Podcast, baby. All right. Now, which country was reported to have the highest bleaching cream problem besides USA? And I was somewhat, not shocked, but then I'm questioning, are these numbers that were being reported, are they real numbers? Could they be higher or could they be lower? Now, that is something that we will never know because, according to the World Health Organization, they let you know what they want you to know, okay? So, they said 77% of women in Nigeria use lightening skin products. The world highest percentage rate. And this practices, once again, root back to the transatlantic slave trade, where skin color was an issue to distinguish how to enslave and which group to enslave the slaves in. Now, I said, okay, I can see that. It was a couple of years ago where we had our Spice Dance Hall Queens, big ups. She had an album and she was talking about bleaching cream and the hypocrisy behind it in her country and Jamaica as well. Now, a lot of men, which was Scrappy, and I do believe it was, can't think of his name, Kurt, and can't think of his name, Young Jock. Now, it was a time when she had put that photo album out with her light-skinned on the cover, and a lot of people used it as controversy and thought that she had actually bleached her skin. But she did not bleach her skin. She used Photoshop just to put it out there to see how would she be viewed and how would she be more likely accepted and how could she tap into a different audience being light-skinned versus dark-skinned. Now, one of the men verbatimly said out of their mouth that if she was light-skinned and look at how that picture, she would have been bad. She would have been a bad man, a gemma. Yeah, that's how they was feeling like, okay, yeah, she bad light-skinned, but why she can't be bad dark-skinned? That's the world playing That's the world playing tricks on our minds. They're trying to keep us in prison, enslaved, and trapped in the world of not knowing who we are and not accepting who we are. That falls back to God, baby. You gotta love what God created you. You gotta love the creation that He made. You can't go messing up His blueprint, because it's His blueprint to mess up, not yours, because He created you and gave you life, baby. Remember that. So I told you I was gonna get into it here at Rena Mays. You know what I'm saying? Rena May, she got a lot to say. It's been years and years of just pent up discussions in this world, and I said, you know what? I gotta come on here and do something about it. I gotta bring awareness unto how I am feeling and how I'm viewing things, okay? So while we're using these products, they are not telling us what is happening to our skin while we're using these products. Okay, now they may have their little warning label that's in fine print on the box or on the back of the tube or whatever you may find the warning labels, if there are any. I'm just gonna say allegedly, because I don't want to be like Tasha K, babe. I don't want no lawsuit now. I'm just now coming out here. My aim is to make that money, not lose that money, all right? But I'm not gonna let the money make me. Remember that. So in concentrated doses over the time, preparation can actually cause permanent damage of the skin, typically leaving gray and blue and purple spotting spots on your skin. Now this is the effect of mercury. Now mercury is found in most of the bleaching creams. Now allegedly the FDA have approved a lot of these bleaching creams, oils, and things that I see in the beauty supply store on these shelves, and sometimes on the corner store. I'm seeing them sometimes too at the corner store now. So we don't know if they are FDA approved. We don't even know if it's been animal tested, lab tested. We don't know any of that, because they're not putting none of these things out here for us to gain knowledge on. Now, I do suggest, if you are using bleaching creams, Google the brand name that you are using to see if it is approved by FDA, and try to look up on it and see if it got some mercury or some stuff in there that could be hazardous to your health and to your skin. Now, like I said, mercury is also known as a carcinogenic, and a temporary fix and band-aiding our internal issues on how we look and feel about ourselves as dark-skinned and ethnic women could cause serious damage and permanent damage to our skin. Now, it can cause a skin thinning, it can cause us to get skin cancer, and it also can cause us to have wrinkles and craters early in life. Now, you know, baby almost pushing 40 over here, and my skin's still tight, still looking good. I got them Hattie Mae jeans, baby. Them jeans ain't nothing to mess with now. You know, we age gracefully over here. And a lot of our ethnicity girls around the world, remember, we want to age gracefully. We don't want to age drastically. Okay. So we already know how society looks at light-skinned women, and this is because, you know, in society, beautiful is awful is all the ways associated with a lighter skin tone. We have our Carbis, we have our Black Chinas, we have all these people out here that are in the light-skinned category. I mean, they're worshipped, they're idolized like goddess, and a lot of everyday women want to sit here and look and feel good and be idolized too. But baby, you can be idolized if you give yourself to God and say, let me have you. God, can you please come into my life as my Lord and Savior today? Save me. I surrender all my internal issues that I'm having, how I feel about myself. If I don't feel beautiful, if I feel ugly, if I feel fat, I don't feel sexy. I don't feel I don't look or feel like I'm that woman of power. Baby, it's all your grace. It's all the grace that you have in God and the grace that God has given you, baby. You have to seek and then find. Sit at the table and put those puzzles to the pieces back together, baby, and find who you are instead of running. Being a track star. But that song said you want to be a track star. However that song go. Stop trying to be that track star. Stop trying to run that sprint or that 5,000 miles, because you know at the end of that 5,000 miles, the problem is still going to be there. So stop band-aiding your colorism issue that you're having with yourself, whether you are a man or a woman. Okay, baby? Oftentimes, dark-skinned women are treated very poorly. And, you know, a lot of times that go back to a lot of dark-skinned women. We are strong. We're going to make it through. We're going to push through. We're not going to give up. And that's because we internalize the battle that we have, how society has projected us, and we turned around and said, okay, I'm gonna put up my wall, I'm gonna put up my 1,000 walls, and this person is not gonna be able to break through to that layer because I don't want that person to break through that layer. While you're building these layers, you're building a resistant, and when you're building a resistant, you're building strength. Now, your strength is very much underestimated by society as dark-skinned women. All right, we gonna talk about it today. Bringing Megan into it, baby. That she is. Now, dark-skinned women is also associated with unsatisfactory traits such as ugliness, low social class, poor education, a very hardship, or life or economic disadvantage and struggles. Those are traits that people label us when they automatically see us as dark-skinned women, because they know that the world is not giving us a chance to present and display what we have to bring to the table, because it's the trajectory of light-skinned is beautiful and light-skinned is accepted. Now, they also have this new slogan out here that I've been doing my research on, and I couldn't believe when I came across this slogan. They are selling the slogan along with bleaching creams, oils, and soaps, or whatever you use to alter your skin. They're selling the slogan that white is right. And I'm going to say it again. They're selling the slogan that white is right. What kind of slogan is that to sell? But if you don't have the education, and you're not trying to internalize and research and say, okay, I want to see what they're talking about, then you will never know what they're talking about, because they're not going to try to display it out there so they can have lawsuits, so they can have riots. No, they're doing it in secrecy. But they're being smart with the secrecy, because they're doing it right in front of our face and we're oblivious to it. We're just not paying attention to the signs that they are showing and displaying us as ethnic women in 2023, living in this modern world. It's modern, baby, for the men and the men. The men and the women is modern. With other countries using bleaching cream, with colorism issues. I never knew this issue until I started doing this research on this issue, that skin whitening is common throughout Asia. And in South Korea, light skin is considered an idea or beauty of an idea of beauty. Now, and most South Koreans believe that having paler skin is the only way to look beautiful. Now, I've seen a lot of old karate movies where a lot of the women had powdered faces, and I thought that was just, part of the theatrics, part of the movie. But until I started doing this research, I learned that that was not for the movies, that was not for the camera. That was actually what was being instilled in their culture, and that was how women were supposed to look. If you didn't have that powder attribute, you weren't viewed beautiful, and you did not fit in what society had put in place for you to be. Now, at the end of the day, if you want to walk around here with your face looking like flour, that is you, baby. That is you. Now, I was looking at Lovely Mimi on YouTube, but she was saying that in her family and in her culture, they had colorism. A lot of the women's, when they went outside, they had long sleeves, hats, long pants, because they did not want the sun to hit their skin due to colorism. They preferred to be light-skinned so they could still fit in the trends of society over there in their world. I was like, oh, snap, Lovely Mimi, okay, girl. Check her out on YouTube. She got a crazy personality. Yes, she's also one of the socialites that started on Love and Hip Hop. I believe it was Lena. I'm not for sure, but she has a good YouTube channel. Most black men do not consider black women attractive, especially dark-skinned women attractive. They feel no desire to defend them and will allow another ethnic group to treat them poorly in order to cater to the group and that they find attractive. Now, I'm not saying that all men are like that and all of our ethnic men are like that, but some are, and it's becoming a really big trend these days. And when I say it's becoming a really big trend, because you have the NLE Choppas, you have a lot of these rappers, you have a lot of these singers, R&B singers, that, you know, are always seen with the red bone and not too much of a dark-skinned woman. Now, if it, like I said, in New Age Hollywood, you know, that's what's trending, that's what's in. Now, we have a lot of our old school actresses that did not have the red carpet rolled out for them, and they went through some trials and tribulations along the way to success. Now, we have our Angela Bassett's, we have our Oprah Winfrey's, we have our Monique's, we have our Vivica Fox, shout outs, baby. All right, now, I love y'all as women. All right, y'all doing y'all thing. Continue to do y'all thing. Continue to uplift and educate and empower us ethnic women around the world. Do your thing, baby. Do your thing. Now, I wanted for us to take a call in action to confront our internal bias and stand up for our ethnic women out here. These are your mothers, your sisters, your grandmothers, your aunties, and your nieces. Black women, we need to stand. Because we deserve more respect. We deserve to have the same opportunities as the next. Okay? Now, why do cultures bleach their skin? You know, we gonna wrap that up. But a lot of the reasons why cultures bleach their skin, in conclusion, around the world, people practice skin bleaching or whitening to live by society's beauty standards. The society beauty standards are the closer you are to white is the closer you are to right. Make it make sense, okay? Now, I've enjoyed you guys today. I had a good conversation. I hope that everybody taking this information that I am giving you and actually use it, put it to use, do your research. You know what I'm saying? Have a man in the mirror moment. Look at yourself. Ask yourself questions. Now, I did promise y'all that I was going to have a storytime tee-hee-hee. So we're going to keep it under 2 minutes for my storytime tee-hee-hee. Now, like I said, I too had acne issues, and I caught myself trying to, you know, even my skin tones, get rid of the black dark mark, the black dark marks that were in my face from having, bumps and pimples and stuff like that. And as I was bleaching my skin, using the bleaching creams now, and I was using Emmy, I started seeing the difference in my skin. Now, I was taking care of my skin, and I became more aware and dedicated to my skin routine. As I became more dedicated to my skin routine, I added in the bleaching cream. I was seeing the results. I was feeling confident, looking confident, and like, oh my gosh, Shireen look good as a red bone, baby. Like you could eat her up. That's how good I was looking, baby. But I had to stop myself and say, are you becoming entrapped? Are you becoming imprisoned? Why are you putting these shackles on yourself? Why are you trying to fit in and be like somebody else? I had to stop and thank you guys. Now, if you are friends with me on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, you will see I've had pictures, and I took pictures throughout my bleaching journey. And let me tell you, I saw a big difference. I saw a big difference in the numbers of people liking my posts and my pictures and how I was looking. I was still looking damn good. But I had to face the facts and face the music of why I was being more confident and feeling more confident. Now, we're going to leave that right there. Make sure you guys inbox me, send me an email. On Spotify, you can leave me a voice message. Let me know what you think about today's episode. Also, do not forget to support your girl. Now, you can find this conversation on Spotify and on YouTube at S-Mays TV, baby. Now, S-Mays TV, you already got that cooking show on there, Rena Mae's Kitchen. featuring your girl Rena Mae, because you know they be smacking their fingers, they be looking their fingers, and they be like, that girl knows she can cook, and I be like, yeah baby, I can cook. I got that Rena Mae and that Hattie Mae, you know what I'm saying? So I want you guys to have a beautiful, blessed, prosperous weekend. I will see you guys on our second episode, and the second episode is gonna be the great divide in the war between the ethnic woman and the black man. All right, so we're gonna stay blessed. I hope everybody continue to stay tuned in. And if nobody told you that they didn't love you today, just remember God loves you each and every day. Amen. Check the girls' website out, Esme's Variety Shop LLC .store. I have the bomb.com boutique on there. I have Zenobia and Zaharia. Zaharia are my eyelash lines that I got in today. Yeah, I got these on. Zaharia, baby. 100% mink, baby. And we have Zenobia, which is my cosmetic line. I have my lipstick with Zenobia. I have these in 32 different shades. If you go on my website, you will see that, all right? Now, I also have eye palettes, lip liners, and brow pencils as well. So let your girl know. Order something. I'm putting this on so you guys can see. Now, my lipsticks are matted, and they do hold up to 16 hours. This is like a soft, sheer petal rose pink. It do give off that gray sheer type color, but that's because of these lights, and you know how it is when you film it. But anyways, your girl Rena Mae is outie, and thank you for attending another episode of Nefertiti Girls.